Jim Jones just lit the timeline on fire after questioning whether New York rap legends are still really active. And when Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club chimed in, they said Nas, yes, Nas ain't out here like that. They said that about Nasir Jones. I need y'all.
And nobody's God out.
I need y'all to see this because
How do you feel when people call you the youngest old?
this is fascinating to me. So Jimmy Jones, Jomo is the name of the album. Y'all got to check it out. I've been listening to it the last couple of days. It's a good album. It's a really good album. I think you'll enjoy it. If you're a Jim Jones fan, you'll like it. If you're not a Jim Jones fan, I think you still might like it. It's actually a strong album. Anyway, he made the statement that nobody's really out there like that. They threw out some names. They said Fab. They say he's not active enough. They said Nas. He said, well, Nas made music, but he made it for the old heads. Young folks ain't checking for him. Some people didn't like that. Some people didn't find that okay. In fact, one of those people was hip-hop legend Chuck D. Chuck said that it was straight disrespect. Public Enemy legend hopped online to remind folks that Nas just packed stadiums last year and got arenas on lock in 2024. His message, the game ain't just about who's trending, it's about legacy. But Jones ain't backing down. He says he's still moving with the young crowd while Nas, he made a run with Hit Boy, but it was for the old heads. He's dug in his heels there. This is an interesting question. Like, when it comes to New York music or even just more broadly, who's right? And does it matter? Couple things here. First, Libin Ahmed said, why Jim Jones cool with the MAGA hat? He's not wearing a MAGA hat. His hat is playing on the MAGA thing. He's actually saying, I believe it's make Dipset great again or something like that. He's replacing America with something else. It's his own it's his own thing. He's not Jim Jones is not doing what you think he's doing. The question, here's what I'll say. In terms of relevance to the young people, I think Nas still is relevant to the young people. I think Fab still is relevant to the young people. I think Hove, Jay-Z is still relevant to the young people. Now, you're talking to somebody, damn near 50. So I'm not the young people voice or the young people representative. But I can tell you, I hear young people still have tremendous respect for all of them. In New York, especially New York, you could say not just Nas, Jay-Z, but Fab as well. I think Jones resonates in a different way, maybe to some young people. But I think sometimes it's hard to know where you fit in these conversations. So I think Jim Jones is relevant. And I think Jim Jones is making great music. I think Jim Jones in some ways is making his best music right now. And I've liked all of his albums, but this is a really great album. But I think Jim is relevant to young people the way Nas is relevant to young people, the way Jay-Z is relevant to young people. And that is, we ain't them. They know we're old heads. We know that we are older than them. We're not Drake, who now is actually an old head. He's the next generation up. You know what I mean? There's a generation after him that these young kids are listening to. But the young people still admire them. They look to them. They come to them for style, whether it's clothing style, whether it's rap style, whether it's financial leads, all of these things. I mean, how many 50 Cent? That's another one, right? I mean, 50, again, young people looked at 50 partly because of what he's doing out of the studio, stuff he's doing with or was doing with BMF and with Power and all of that. He was a model of what's possible. And so they see that, but they're not exactly listening to 50 records. And 50's not making a lot of music. 50's doing a lot of other interesting things. But the point here is that these old heads are relevant. Jim Jones is one of them, but I don't think he's the only one. I think it's him. I think it's Nas. I think it's Jay. I think it's 50. I think it's Fab. If we're just talking about New York artists. And I think that's okay. And when you fill up stadiums like Nas is doing, when you're filling up arenas like Nas and Jay are doing, yeah, it's a lot of old heads. There's a lot more people like me than it is my kids out there. But my kids be going too. And if not my kids, your kids. Somebody's kids. The next generation is still there. I just love the fact that there's a conversation about it. And I love the fact that we now are in a space where the hip-hop old heads aren't just in obscurity. They're not going out to pasture, but instead they have long careers. And that their long careers don't hinge on, they don't depend upon needing to connect with somebody who's 21 or 22. That Nas can have a run and entertain our generation and get supported by our generation and get Grammys, get critical acclaim. That's dope to me. You see it with R&B, you know, there's a generation of R&B singers. They're not necessarily making the hit singles, but they're still making great music decades later. I mean, think about Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin put out records in 1967, 1977, 87, and even 97. If not exactly 97, Rose Still Roses was like around 98, 99, whatever. The point is, 3-4 decades later, still making great music, and now rappers are doing that. And I think it's so dope to see. I'm excited, I'm proud, and I'm glad to just see the culture growing in that way. So shout out to them for sure.